surveillance. In other words, Hunter was being paid for access to his vice president father, who was specifically put in charge of Ukraine and Russia. How about the Russia hoax? It turned out that they were the ones that did the Russia hoax. It was them. No collusion, no collusion. These emails show that Biden's repeated claim that he has never spoken to Hunter about his business dealings were a complete lie. It was a total lie. He lied to you over and over because he's trying to cover up a massive pay-for-play scandal at the heart of his vice presidency, and everybody knows it. Everybody in Washington knows it. We've known it for a long time. The fact is, there was never an administration more corrupt than the Obama-Biden administration. There was never. Just weeks ago, Joe stood before the American people in a presidential debate and told you that these claims had been totally discredited and that his son did nothing wrong. But now that turns out to be a total lie. Now we can see clearly that Biden is a corrupt politician who shouldn't even be allowed to run for the presidency. I was pressing Joe Biden to tell the truth because the corrupt mainstream media, right back there, all those cameras right back there, they're corrupt, and they refuse to write the story. There wasn't one time in almost 4 years during my presidency, during the greatest political scandal in U.S. history, a witch hunt, a horrible, horrible, disgusting witch hunt that should never, ever happen to another presidency again, and people should pay for the crimes they committed. Which turned out to be a total illegal hoax that false and libelous stories every day, false and libelous stories, and they knew they were false too. They knew they were false. They were never taken down by Twitter or Facebook or the mainstream media, never once. Yet with Biden today, they take negative posts down almost before they even go up. They're trying to protect him. They're trying to protect Biden. They take him down. And I was just getting off that magnificent plane behind us, Air Force One. And I had heard, and I just don't know this for a fact, but they say, Kayleigh McEnany. You know Kayleigh, right? Kayleigh McEnany. Good Kayleigh, she's so great. She's incredible. They closed down her account. She's the White House press secretary. Because she's reporting the truth. They closed down her account. So let's see what's going to happen. And did you hear the news? Bruce Orr is finally out of the Department of Justice. Bruce Orr. Him and his wonderful wife, Molly. She wrote all this stuff, and then he goes and he works at the Department of Justice, and he took it. Didn't he bring it to the FBI? The wife writes it. She gets paid a lot of money. Bruce Orr is finally out of the Department of Justice. That's good. A couple of years too late, that's all. He should be not only in the Department of Justice outbox, he should be someplace else, okay? 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company. Vice President Joe Biden went to Ukraine and threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid if they did not fire the prosecutor that was investigating his son and the company that his son worked for. That's very miserable. The documents also show that before one of Joe's trips to Ukraine, Hunter emailed his business partner saying his lucrative contract should begin now. Think of that. Should begin now. Right now, it's got to begin. The whole thing is so incredible. Here's a guy, look, let's just put it in simple language. He got thrown out of the military. That's unfortunate. He didn't have a job for a long time. His father becomes vice president, and he's making millions and millions and millions of dollars a year. Think of it. No, think of it. Think of it. It's like the Hillary stuff, the crooked Hillary, and it's the crooked Joe. You know, when a Democrat voter here in Iowa asked Joe last year, you remember, if his son raked in money in exchange for providing access, Joe called that man a damn liar. You're a damn liar. Kid's making millions of dollars. He had nothing. He didn't have a job. Thrown out of the military, sadly, but thrown out of the military. And he knew nothing about energy. He knew nothing about investments, knew nothing about China. How about he walked away $1.5 billion to manage for China? They don't do that with the most brilliant people on Wall Street. Vice President Biden, you owe the people of America an apology, because it turns out you are a corrupt politician, okay? Joe Biden must immediately release all emails, meetings, phone calls, transcripts, and records related to his involvement in his family's business dealings, influence peddlings around the world, including China and including Russia. Hunter raked in a fortune from China while Joe Biden was giving China all of our jobs. They came, you know where they came from, Iowa, and plenty of other places, but they came from Iowa. He was giving them, they were taking our jobs, they were taking our factories, they were taking everything, they were taking our wealth. And I gave you $28 billion, say thank you very much, President Xi. It came right out of China. And because of that, everybody's happy in Iowa. I just hope you remember that on November 3rd. Hope you remember. Nobody else would have done it. Nobody else would have done it. The Biden family treated the vice presidency as a for-profit corporation flying around the globe, collecting millions of dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and other countries. In fact, the wife of the mayor of Moscow gave Hunter Biden a check for $3.5 million in cash, while his father gave away the store to Russia, including Crimea. Remember Crimea? The Bidens got rich while America got robbed. By contrast, and this is so true and so easily true, and I'm so proud of it in so many ways, I've given up billions of dollars to serve as your president, and it's my greatest honor of a lifetime. It's so true. I ran for president because I could not sit back any longer and watch the terrible injustices being done to the American people. And it's true. And by the way, before the China plague came in, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now it's going right back there. Our stock market is very close to a number that was even higher. Does everybody have your 401k ready? Because it's going through the roof. We're going to have the best year we've ever had, and we're going to have tax cuts, not tax increases. They want to increase your taxes. They want to increase your taxes so they can spend it on the Green New Deal. It's another beauty. I cannot sit idly by and watch career politicians like Joe Biden continue bleeding this country dry. And that's what it is. You know, you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But when you have a kid that follows his father, and by the way, take a look at his brother. His brother all of a sudden is building a big housing development in Iraq. Have you ever built a development before? No, I haven't. Take a look at the whole family. It's a corrupt family. Joe Biden personifies the selfless and corrupt globalists who got rich and powerful at your expense. Take a look at the people that are funding his campaign. People assumed that they'd be funding my campaign. I don't want them. We don't want them. We never needed them. We don't want them. But they betrayed American workers, disparaged American values, and crushed our middle class. For decades, Biden and his cronies laughed while they shipped millions of your jobs to their friends in foreign countries, in countries that you've never even heard of. They lived behind gated walls and they flooded your communities with illegal immigration, deadly drugs, MS-13 savages that assault, rape, and murder innocent Americans. They forced our fellow citizens to live in crumbling inner cities while they spent trillions of dollars on never-ending foreign wars. They just never ended. But you know, we're bringing all our soldiers back home. You know that. We've been doing it for a long time. And it's not easy. Not easy. The military-industrial complex, not the easiest thing, but we're bringing them back home. We're almost finished in Afghanistan, coming in. We're down to a small number coming home by the end of the year, hopefully the end of the year, shortly thereafter. In Syria, we're out, totally out. And by the way, before I did this, we crushed 100% of the ISIS caliphate. 100%. We crushed 100%. We have the greatest military in the world, and by the way, we have built the greatest military in the world. So I just tell you from Iowa, you know, you're a very powerful state politically. You're a big state to me, big in your heart. But you have a tremendous influence and a tremendous power, and you've never let me down. You just came in and we won by so much. You know, they say if a Republican wins by 1 point, I think I won by 11, right? 11. That was early in the night, remember that? They said, Donald Trump has won the state of Iowa. Then they said, man, he won by 11 points. What's going on? That was just the beginning. Then we won Ohio. We won Ohio by 8 points. They said, what's going on? You know, it's one thing you win a state, but when you win by a lot, and that was the beginning of something. And I'll tell you what, we have more enthusiasm now than we ever did 4 years ago. There really is true. And we have great poll numbers, although, you know, you see a lot of the fake poll numbers. They'll do anything they can. They're called suppression polls. Yeah, there they go. Look at the red lights. They start to go off as I start to point. You know, in one way they want the ratings, in another way they don't want to have the ratings, and you're telling CNN that they're a fraud in their broadcasting. No, that was one of the greatest evenings ever. There are those that say it was the most exciting evening in the history of television, highest rated evening in the history of television. And you know what? The election we have coming up on November 3rd is actually more important. It's actually more important. In 2016, you voted to fire the failed and decrepit political class, and you elected an outsider as your president, and I finally put America first. It's called Make America Great Again. It's windy out here. If you can wear the hat, I can wear the hat. Should I take off the tie or not? What do you think? I don't know. Maybe yes? Oh, that feels so much better. That feels better. That feels good. Now we can all just relax and have a good time. No, but it's great to be with you. Seriously, we've had a great history here together. What we've done for you and what we've done for the farmers and what we've done for everything. You know, 2 weeks ago, you had the largest order of corn in the history of our country, right? 2 weeks ago, you had the largest order of soybeans in the history of our country and the largest order of beef. But you know why? Because China wants to keep me happy, that's why. It was from China because they know what they've done to us should never have been allowed. They could have stopped it. They didn't stop it. They should have stopped it. The only reason I'm your president is because the previous administration did a poor job, so poor, in fact, that I said, I'm going to run for president. And you know what? If they did a good job, I wouldn't have run. And if they did a good job, I guess I wouldn't have won. When you think, I wouldn't have run, and I wouldn't have won. But they were so bad, and it turns out they were so totally corrupt. We did not come this far to overcome this much and fight this hard, only to surrender our country back to the depraved Washington swamp. You know, when I would say, drain the swamp, I used to say it, you know, drain the swamp, and people liked it. I hated the expression. I hated it. I hated it. I just said, this is a hokey expression. And I put it in one speech, the place went crazy. I said, I'm starting to like that expression. Then I put it in another speech, and they went crazy. I said, you know, I really like it. I really like it. But you know, when I say drain the swamp, I had no idea the swamp was that dirty, that disgusting, and that deep. It's true. If I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician, thank God. And I don't want to insult our great politicians, because you have some great ones with us tonight. But if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you harder than ever. And I tell you what, I fight for you harder than any president has ever fought for anyone. It's not easy. But I love it, because we're making tremendous progress. We're making tremendous progress. And the fact is that no administration in their first 3.5 years has ever done as much as this administration has done. You take a look at the list. And you know, it's amazing, because they always challenge you. They challenge you on everything. They never even challenge me on that statement. I make that statement all the time. They just stand there, they say, they grit their teeth, they say he's right. We might hate him, but they say he's right. Right now, I'm fighting to eradicate the virus, rebuild the economy, and save our country from the radical left. And that's exactly what we're doing. As a candidate, Joe Biden has made yet another corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control to the socialists and Marxists and the lunatic left-wing fringe that are really running that party. He's not running it. Let's face it, Joe is shot, okay? Whether you like it or not. We can all be nice. It's gonna be my turn someday. It's even gonna be your turn someday, my friends. Someday. But you know, when it is your turn, you can't be president. One thing I've learned, President Xi of China, he's 100%. Putin of Russia, 100%. Kim Jong-un, by the way, whatever happened to that war we were supposed to be in? Kim Jong-un of North Korea, 100%. These people are sharp and they're smart. Joe has lost it. In his best day, he wasn't a smart man. Everybody knows that. But Joe is gone. If he wins, the radical left will be running the country. They're addicted to power, and God help us if they get it. We'll never be the same country, and we will never be able to recover. And we are on a basis, and I'll tell you something, the country was coming together. I was telling a very good reporter today that our country was coming together because we were having such success that I was being called by people that normally I wouldn't be speaking to too much. They don't want me, I don't want them. But we had the best employment numbers in history, African American, Hispanic American numbers, women, Asian, everything. High school diploma, without high school diploma, colleges, PhDs. We had the best numbers in every category. 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that. We were at 160 million jobs. And it was all coming together. People, let's get together, let's talk. You know, it's like splitting up the riches, really, and in a positive way, splitting up the riches. And what happened is we then got hit with the plague. And now it's back to the drawing boards, but we're going to have a strong V. The third quarter is going to be incredible when you see the numbers. Not that I know anything, because I don't want to give you inside information, because I don't have it. They'll say, he's giving away inside information. They are sick. But wait till you see the third quarter numbers, and it's going to be right before the election, before the November 3rd, although a lot of people will have voted by that time. Get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. But we were really coming together, because that's, you know, look, ultimately we want to come together. Everybody come together. And we were really coming together, and then we got hit by this horrible situation. Could have been stopped. China stopped it from going into the rest of China, but they didn't stop it from coming out and going to Europe and the United States and the rest of the world, 188 countries. So we're now putting it together. We had it done, and now we're doing it again. And next year will be even stronger than last year. Last year was the best year we've ever had. And this coming year will be even better than last year. Unless somebody comes along and says, let's quadruple your taxes, which is what they want to do. They want to raise your taxes. They want to go with this ridiculous Green New Deal, which, by the way, their original price, $100 trillion, you couldn't do it for that. If we did great every year for 100 years, everything was perfect, right? No nothing, no recessions, no anything. You couldn't make $100 trillion. These people are crazy, and they actually mean it. You know, they actually mean it. So we're going to get it going to a level that nobody can ever turn course on us, nobody can ever change. You know, I tell the story for years as a student of economies. I just love it. I love watching it, I love doing it, and I love seeing the results, because the results have been so incredible. But as a student, I used to hear for years, for 10 years, 2019, China, because look, let's face it, China's 1.4 billion people, we're 325, not including illegal immigrants that are in the country, frankly. And we don't even know what that number. I said, how many do we have? We have no idea, sir. Well, I have an idea. By the way, our southern border is now stronger than it's ever been. But we have 325, 330 million people. But for years I heard that China will overtake us as the world's largest economy in the year 2019. You've all heard it, I think, right? Yes? He's a very smart-looking guy. You're loaded with money, I'll bet. Look, that's why he's in the front row. He's in the front row, and he didn't have to stand here for 3 days to get there. I can tell he's got it. But, right, 2019, that China was going to overtake us. Well, you go back 6 months, 7 months, not only weren't they overtaking, we were beating them by leaps and bounds and getting bigger and bigger and growing and taxing them and taking in billions and billions in tariffs. And when they targeted Iowa and the farmers of this country and ranchers and others, I said, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. And I put a 25% tariff on everything. And I gave a lot of the money, although I don't want to say it too loudly, $28 billion. I gave you 16 and 12. I said to Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture, great guy, he knows more about.
There we go, as we fade out President Donald J. Trump, who was styling and stumping in Des Moines, Iowa, as you've seen him at Air Force One in the backdrop at the airport. I guess it's the airport tour this year. The first three back, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here, have been at the airports. He flies in and they set up the stage, and it's amazing the crowds he's drawing. I think the one Biden had yesterday, his car drive-in thing, he had like 30 cars drive in to his little event. So,
hang on really quick, okay?
Oh.
Sorry, you're on a roll, but...
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on Newswire, both on Facebook and
on YouTube. And make sure you go over to our Instagram and like that page and follow us on there as well. We need your help.
Yes. Maybe we'll add Twitch into this thing. They're starting to really push the news and political story. And man,
throw it on there.
We're throw us up on Twitch. We'll see what goes on with that whole enchilada. Because we want to be the dominant news media source, radio, talk show, information gathering extravaganza.
And we're on Twitch.
And we're
just
on Twitch
like
at that. Look at that.
See?
We're adding to our network every day. We got to figure out. I had a way of getting on Instagram. We should be doing some of that. Maybe post some clips or something of some of our most famous clips. If we go back to Makeup with Stephanie, we will post those on Instagram.
Let me get on that because I have nothing else to be doing.
Yes. Well, you looked kind of bored today.
I'm bored every day.
Of that, I don't know how you could be bored in 2012. Bored not. Driving you
I'm going
insane.
insane.
Yes.
I've lost my mind.
Insanity on that. That we're going to start off with a little, we covered it a couple weeks ago. There was a guy flying, guy on approach and whatever, 747 airline coming in on that on approach saying, there's a dude, they're about 3,000 feet up, and they said there's a dude flying around in a jetpack. Well, I guess there's a...
When you lock people up inside for so long, they're going to become inventors.
Jetpack man strikes again. Here's ABC 7 report.
Person in a jetpack over the skies of Los Angeles. The FAA says a China Airlines crew reported someone in a jetpack just before 2 p.m. LAX radio traffic gave us a better idea of how this played out.
Flying object, was it a UAV or was it a jetpack? 215 Heavy, there was a jetpack reported about 13 miles
LAX
ahead.
going in.
Idaho 30, and there was a jetpack reported about 7 miles west of you. There's no way you can go and check that out, can you?
The airline crew says the person in the jetpack was over the Century City area at about 6,000 feet. Law enforcement is now investigating. And you may remember in late August, 2 commercial airline pilots reported seeing someone in a jetpack near planes around LAX. That person was never located.
So they never did find the first guy of that. And what's the bets? I'm saying that's the same dude.
I would say it's his brother.
Oh, you'd say
or cousin. Someone related. Why not?
Could be, yeah. If nothing else, it's the same jetpack. Because who would?
But maybe not. I mean, I know they're really popular down by the river, but those are like the water ones.
Those things are fairly pricey, I think.
Yeah, probably. But again, you lock people inside, they're gonna get crazy.
Yes, they're gonna just start flying around.
How freaking terrifying, though! He was 3,000 feet up.
No, that one was 6. I think the other one, the one in August that they mentioned, was like at about 3,000. It was closer. Century City.
With no parachute?
Well, I don't know if they got a parachute.
They have a parachute.
I doubt it if you're running a jetpack. Well, I mean, if you're up 6,000, you would. But, I mean, most of the guys are running fairly close to the ground, so you wouldn't, it wouldn't necessarily do you a lot of good of that. But, no, I don't know if they would have that.
Okay, would you ride a jetpack?
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. Oh, yes.
The hell is wrong with you?
Well,
we're going to be hiring for co-hosts soon.
I figure as many stupid things as I've done over my lifetime, what's the harm in
David writes in and wants to know if you're going to go to the Trump rally in Lake Elsinore this weekend.
I heard about that.
There's a Trump rally at Lake Elsinore this weekend?
Yes, I think it's Saturday.
But Trump's not going to be there, though, right?
No, it's just a Trump rally.
He wants to know if you're going to go live.
That I don't know. You want to go live on the Trump rally?
Me? Or David? Who are you asking?
I'm asking you.
Anyways. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe what time?
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
David,
let us know what time.
Yeah. My
son's birthday is tomorrow. I kind of...
That's like on Thursday.
But I'm
the rally,
prepping.
I think, is on Saturday.
I know it's on Saturday, but I'm prepping this weekend because I don't. Anyways.
Of that.
I'm not going to talk about personal stuff.
Yes, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Probably not, David, but...
No, we can't. We need to know what time.
Yeah, depending... depending on what time it is on that whole.
That'd be fun, though. It would really be cool to go out there and just kind of be a part of it and fill it out. I think that'd be neat.
Yes.
And David's going to join us since he brought it up and he's making me go out there. You're going to go too, David.
Yes, we'll put you live on the air, David, if we make it out there. Actually, we probably should. We should go because
that would be cool.
How long has it been since we've done a remote?
But
Ages?
We're doing a remote Saturday now. Damn it, David.
Well, he said you should go live. I mean, our audience is requesting it. How can we turn our audience
We can't
down?
say no to you guys,
Yes.
so I guess we're going out there Saturday and doing it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll see you out there.
I'm going to have to hold you down for the enthusiasm that's coming up.
But you know what? I'm going to throw this out there, too. I want to go to a Biden rally.
Oh.
Is there any?
Yeah, where? 30 cars showed up at one Tuesday.
But no, really, I want to go I want to do both sides, though. And I'm not saying that I'm
I haven't heard of any of them around.
I haven't either. That's why I'm throwing this out there. Because I don't think there is any. But in the event that we find one, I think we should go.
Yes, you're down in the basement of.
I mean,
of
why
the
not?
Deep dark witches.
Why not?
Maybe on the.
But I want to know because I want to do this because I want to compare. I want to see the difference.
No, maybe we'll do a Halloween Biden rally deep in the dark recesses of the basement with witches and you know.
I mean, isn't there a retirement center up the street?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That was mean. But really, I want to go and I want to compare. I want to see the difference. Our viewers want to see that too. I know they do.
Yeah.
And don't write in if you don't. If you do, I'm not going to read it out loud anyways.
Wow. So you're being Stephanie the censor. If you don't agree with her, you're out.
No, I read everybody's. Even when people call me stupid, I read them out. Why not?
Of that. A big thing coming on nationally, down to our locality, and like the old Speaker of the House, big Irishman from Massachusetts, Tip O'Neill, back in the 80s, was Speaker of the House, and he said all politics are local. And it really is. But we're going to start out with the national part of this deal going on. And it started in that, and I don't know what it is. I'm thinking the main guys or some of the dominant media hosts are now starting to go a little bit
crazy.
No, not necessarily crazy of that. But they're actually being a little bit more honest about what's going on.
There we go.
Jake Tapper yesterday had Biden's chief of staff on, or not Sunday, on whatever Sunday show, the news shows that you probably never watched.
What show?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have TV.
He challenged, Biden's campaign chief of staff said it's unconstitutional for Trump to nominate Amy Coney Barrett for that, and Jake Tapper looked at her and said, it is not unconstitutional about that. What in the blank are you talking about? You crazy chick.
There you
and
go.
I'm being very kind.
Yeah, you are.
Jake Tapper didn't say that, but I probably would. That's why I probably don't have his job.
Probably not.
But anyway, she kept droning on and on and on about it. And we're going to do the Pelosi one, and Wolf Blitzer done the same thing today. And this is enough, but we're going to stay with the schools thing because I want to get this in because it goes from Washington, D.C. to Moreno Valley, California.
Let's do it.
So here's David Gregory on CNN. He was on Channel 4. But he's finally telling the truth about what's going on about our schools and why they are closed. Here we go.
And that he's got to really paint a picture of how he leads and how it would be different under his leadership. Because the reality is that the reaction to Trump is also strong, and you see it with schools. There's a lot of schools who are in communities like Washington, D.C., that's doing a good job, and people are following the rules, and they are still so risk-averse to opening schools, in large part because their teachers don't want to do it, and a lot of that is reaction to some of the politics. So if Trump says reopen, then we should stay closed. There's all of this that's coursing through the response to the virus that is a reflection of how it's been politicized, and it's really unfortunate.
There you go. He said first, teachers do not want to go back into class. That's David Gregory on CNN who said that.
No.
Second thing he said is They don't want to open the schools because Trump wants to open the schools.
Yes, that I agree with 100%.
Then you are agreeing with the first part.
No. I'm not saying the teachers. No, teachers want to go back. Any teacher I talk to
then why aren't
does not like that.
I did not hear one teacher. I have not heard one teacher walk up to the microphone and say, "We want to go back into class."
I think people are scared to go up there, and maybe they're in fear of losing their job or something. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they would. But I'm just saying, maybe they're scared.
Then they don't need to be in the job. We don't need scared people doing the jobs of teaching kids. We need teachers that got some blank that will go out there and say, this is what needs to be done. But teachers that got some
blank aren't hireable.
This is why you have the situation of the chaotic curriculum that they are trying to teach, and that's a subject for a different day. But I want to get to the particulars because he's talking about the schools. David Gregory was one of that, talking about the schools in Washington, D.C. So I want to come 3,000 miles back to Moreno Valley, California.
We're not ready yet.
So, two things. I want to start with this one because this one struck me as funny of that. They're talking about, we talked about yesterday about taking if you go to a restaurant, Ding Dong Newsom saying, oh, you got to have your mask on, then you got to take your mask off, put your food in, start chewing, put your mask back on, do this 87,000 times.
What the hell are you eating?
Yes. So, here's same thing, this is Moreno Valley Unified School District at the board meeting going on that, so here we go.
And I just want to remind everybody, the California Department of Public Health's guidance asks school districts to remind staff and students to not touch their face and their coverings and to wash their hands frequently. So they also ask that information should be provided to all staff and families in the school community on proper use, removal, and washing of face coverings. And signage has been ordered for several places, and additional signage is ordered as we identify other areas in which it is needed. Some people say, don't people know this? But you walk into stores.
So, yeah, people know when they're being conned. So pull the picture back up, please.
I don't want to.
Cover your face. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Now, how are you not supposed... And don't touch your face. Now, how are you supposed to do that and follow Newsom's guidelines when you're eating?
Because Newsom's full of crap.
Correct.
But don't pick on him. I think those guidelines are,
Well, how do you do this? Why aren't you saying...
How do you do what?
This is what a proper administrator would be doing. He would be saying, you know what? This is the stupid state guidelines that are absolutely impossible to follow, which means you're never going to open your schools under this. And this is exactly why. It is stupid. We should be filing a lawsuit against California state regulations. We should be joining Kevin Kiley and James Gallagher, our assemblymen, in suing Newsom over these ridiculous executive orders, and we should be opening our schools on October 22nd or 26th, like Norco is, and then Temecula's doing it in November.
I don't think they are.
They are.
Are they? Are you sure?
They said, and Corona Norco told the teachers unions, if you ain't coming back, we're going to hire substitute teachers. So if the teachers, we're going to find out on October 26th.
I'm curious because who else pushed it back? Somebody else pushed it back.
We're going to find out. Corona Norco is pushing the envelope here in Riverside County on that. And because they told the teacher, because the teachers unions were going, oh, we're not coming in, it's not safe, and that, and they said, fine. You don't want to show up to work? We'll find somebody who will.
Yes.
So, here's the better one, as we're going through the deal. I have told you at the beginning of this, I said schools, as you knew them prior to March 2020, they are not coming back. Again, this is the board meeting yesterday at Moreno Valley Unified School District.
Just get on with it.
Came back again at a time when they would discuss what was appropriate. And So there are some people who think we go back to school, in a hybrid model on November the 1st, but I don't think that was ever the intention, that we would always have distance learning. But in our future, we want to look at, because our associations, especially our Teachers Association, has asked us to give them 4 weeks, turnaround or notice so that they can plan and prepare and think through this. And so I think one of the things is looking at a in-person hybrid model when it's safe and the conditions are, and all the conditions, not just the conditions of COVID-19, but the conditions in our schools, the plexiglass, the person.
There we go. Start with the safe.
Define that.
Correct. Because
I guess
everyone from the World Health Organization on down to the CDC to any credible evidence has said schools should, in fact, we are doing much more
I love you, Carla.
to our students by not having them school than any supposed possible risk that could be ever done. And that's with none of this crap. Yeah, in fact, the evidence is showing all this plexiglass, this and social distancing, that.
I think that's going to mentally damage children a hell of a lot more, that they're in this shell.
Why don't we just lock them into prisons? That's what you're. I thought schools were a prison when I went there. Jeez. They're going to turn these into real. You're going to think San Quentin is a vacation compared to what they're going to do with schools, and then you're only going. You should have heard that. Well, we're going to have one group going in on Monday and Tuesday, and another group going in on Thursday and Friday.
Honestly, I couldn't even watch it because it makes me want to cry. Like, I'm at that point now. I don't get mad. I just want to cry because I feel for my kids. I mean, they miss their friends. They want to go back to school. My oldest today was finally excited when I said, you know what, maybe plan on not going back to school. And it made me happy that he was excited, but at the same time, I'm like, don't be excited about not going back to school. I mean, I don't know. I get their point, and I appreciate them trying to protect the students and everything. But at what point, when is safe not safe anymore? Define safe. I mean, there's a shooting. All these kids were killed, and I hate to bring up Sandy Hook, but what changed then? But there's a flu going around, and this happens? Like, are you freaking kidding me? There's protests and people burning buildings down and shooting people and killing people, but there's a flu going around, and we're shutting down the schools. A flu.
You should.
What the hell, Roy?
You should have read the rest of it.
I don't want to.
Kezia had a deal. 18,000 flu cases last year. In the last flu season from October to February before the thing hit. Well, no kidding. And nobody died in the schools.
And I want to go back, and I don't want to say that the coronavirus is anything that we should be, saying it's not serious. It is serious.
For a very small person.
And it has taken life. So I get where people are scared, though, and they don't want to get sick, and I get all of that. I'm not saying, but really?
Yes.
I mean,
the coup de grace.
How are you going to come back?
They're not.
I
told you.
I know.
How
are they ever going to open regularly and have normal 8 to 2:30 school day ever again?
I think I was the first one. I said this in March when this whole thing first hit. We can go back and run the tape.
I'm not going back because I'm going to be the one that has to find it.
And I'm pretty sure if I wasn't the first, I was right on top of it. But I could see that. I could see that when the teacher said, "Oh well, we're not getting paid if you close down the schools," and Newsom said, "Oh well, yeah, we're paying you whether you sit at home or do nothing or not," and then I knew right there. I said, "That's the end of it. That is the end of it. You are not going to see schools as you saw them before January or before March of 2020."
And it's so silly. Like, I don't understand why it's gone this far. I mean, we're coming up to it. By the time they go back, it's going to be well over a year that we've shut down.
Because you haven't come to the concept that they're all evil. Teachers unions, administrators, school board members. I hate when you say teachers
because I love my teachers. They're not evil.
Then why aren't they speaking up?
Well, because you know what they need? They need a little bit of Roy in their life to piss them off and get them wrought up so they'll go and do that.
And I and a few others have been out there saying this for decades. We've been putting this out there and been called every name in the book. told we were stupid, didn't know what we were talking about. This is not possible. Just like every other statistics. And I want especially MVUSD say anything I said was wrong, because I can pull out a litany of stuff from everybody on that board to executive staff to teachers that you were wrong. And I haven't been wrong once yet. In any of the statistics I have brought
It pisses me off because really he hasn't.
on that. And my analysis hasn't been wrong either. So let's get down to brass tacks on this. I want to get to the Wolf Blitzer Pelosi thing, because that, again, this come on yesterday. And I mean, on top of the Tapper deal and then David Gregory, but Wolf Blitzer really jumped in Nancy Pelosi's blank over this. She started going hysterical because he's questioning, why aren't you putting, Trump put together a package, said, well, whatever it was, $1 trillion stimulus checks, $1,200 for everybody, standalone deal, and Pelosi's rejected it. And Wolf Blitzer said, hey, these people need help. They're suffering. Mainly because what you've been doing, Pelosi, of that. He didn't really say that, but that's my deal on it, my interpretation of it. But this is the exchange on CNN between Nancy Pelosi and Wolf Blitzer. And Wolf Blitzer, the Democratic apologist, in my opinion, jumps right in Nancy's shorts on this. Here we go.
Excuse me for
Let the
interrupting,
states go back.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of your own.
That, but
but even members of your own caucus,
question,
members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal, $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. But let me just.
But stop right there. Ro Khanna is a very liberal Democrat and saying we need to do this, whether it's regardless of Trump or not. And Pelosi will not, because she has that power as Speaker of the House, is not to bring it to the floor. So here we go.
Let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat. And he just said this. He said, people in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal, put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
There you go. Now, why do you suppose they want to wait till February?
I don't know. I don't get it.
They don't swear in the new president till January 20th,
Okay.
2021, whichever he's going to be, Trump or Biden.
Right.
So they want to take credit for it. They want to make the issue or
Credit
make the
for
people
what?
suffer,
Opening school
so they
up or
won't
something?
vote for Trump and they will vote for Biden, because they said they're holding your vote hostage. You don't vote for Biden, you ain't getting crap. Well, no, we can fix this. We can vote Pelosi and the Democrats out of power. Do not let the Senate go back to Democratic. In fact, increase the Republican majority in the Senate and elect Trump. And then they can all just get... Pelosi's back there. She can scream and holler all she wants, but she cannot stop things like this that her own party and her own liberal, very left-wing people are saying you need to do this. This is what we're all about, supposedly, but they're not. They're not about power and control, as Mason Weaver and others have said. They're about keeping you on the plantation, and they're about killing you and your family's opportunity and making them richer. Here we go.
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues apologists for the Republican position. Ro Khanna.
Stop right there.
Okay.
When has Wolf Blitzer been a apologist or a ringleader or cheerleader for the Republican Party?
I don't even know who that is, so I don't know.
He's been on, I mean, Trump has criticized him at the press conferences and stuff of doing that. And Nancy Pelosi, this is how delusional, I better not say the word, delusional the Botox queen is. Here we go.
That's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February. I want this very much now, because people need...
Then bring it to the floor of the House and let's have a vote on it.
What does she want right now? I'm lost.
Nothing. She wants to hold people hostage for the stimulus and anything else. She wants them to suffer and saying, if you don't vote for Biden, you ain't getting nothing. That's why she is holding it up. Nancy Pelosi is Speaker of the House.
Need help now. But it's no use giving them a false thing just because the president wants to put a check with his name on it in the mail, that we should not be doing all we can to help people pay the rent, put food on the table.
Pause. It's not just a check with his name on it. That could be saving somebody's house, feeding somebody's kids.
I'm
just saying, she cannot say that it's just a check with someone's name on it. Because to other people, that's like a God's grace.
Exactly. If somebody's sending you a check, do you care if it's got 10,000 names as long as it's got yours paid to Stephanie?
Exactly.
That's how disingenuous.
But I mean, you would be appreciative to whoever's giving it to you, but no one's going to be like, I don't know, that she's an idiot.
Thank you.
Benefits that they don't lose their jobs if they're state and local. We're talking about the consequences of a pandemic, the symptoms of a problem that the president refuses to address.
But you know,
and that is the coronavirus.
We know
that is
we
the
know
coronavirus.
the problem out there, but there are millions of Americans who have lost their jobs. They can't pay the rent. Their kids need the food.
That's right, and that's what we're trying to get done.
$1.8 trillion, and the president just tweeted, stimulus, go big or go home. He wants even more right now, so why not work out a deal with him, and don't let the perfect, as they say here in Washington, be the enemy of the good.
Well, I will not let the wrong be the enemy of the right.
What's wrong with $1.8 trillion?
Well, you know what? Do you have any idea what the difference is between the spending that they have in their bill and that we have in our bill? Do you realize that they have come back and said all these things for child tax credits and earned income tax credits for helping people who have lost their jobs are eliminated in their bill? Do you realize they pay no respect to the fact that child care is very important?
You could put everything under the sun. Pelosi, we have a deal. You have support on your side of the aisle for doing this. In fact, if I was there, I wouldn't do the whole thing. I wouldn't do any of it. But this is what they determined on. They're going to your side. You want to deal with Roy? You would be begging for the deal that Trump got you. So instead of it's going to be my way or the highway, and I'm going to politicize it, I'm going to crush the American people until they acquiesce to the way I want to go. That's what you're saying.
Not me.
Nancy Pelosi saying.
Right.
Find ourselves in this situation. I feel very confident about the knowledge that I bring to this. But more importantly, the knowledge that our chairs of jurisdiction, science-based, academically documented, institutionally suggested in terms of what the cost would be to do it and to do it that way. And about, we talk about child care, yes. We talk about questions as if there's some authority on the subject. Please give equal weight to to all of the chairmen on the committee who have written this bill.
But so many of your fellow Democrats in the House, they want a deal right now.
No, that isn't.
The problem solvers, they all want a deal right now.
Yeah.
And here's what they're complaining about, because you wrote a letter to House Democrats and you said this. Let me read a line from the letter that you wrote. The president only wants his name on a check to go out before Election Day and for the market.
As Wolf said, they want a deal on this thing. And she's standing in the way of it, and she will not admit it. She keeps going around Fisher's fence.
Let's get a deal tomorrow.
Look, let me say this. The president has sent Mr. Mnuchin to negotiate. That's what we've done with other presidents. This isn't unusual. With President Bush, we did this quite a bit because that's how you negotiate. And then you take it to the president. This, Mr. Mnuchin, I think he has integrity representing his position. May I finish, please? But he has integrity representing his position. But he's cut to the wealthiest people in the country in their bill, in the CARES Act. We tried to take it out in this bill. Instead, they took out earned income tax credit, child tax credit, expand. I have every confidence in what and the arguments that we make because it's based on science and documentation. Our chairs know their stuff. They know what they're doing, with all due respect to the kind of people you were referencing. And I welcome their enthusiasm. I welcome their interest. I welcome their originality of their thinking.
There you go. She says it
20
again,
seconds.
And we're coming in, but we didn't get to the exchange of where they went back and forth on this deal. And I mean, Wolf jumped in her case about that. But I'm glad he did. He said, these people need help. And she flat put her foot down and said, I'm not giving it to them. That is the disingenuous
10
of that
seconds.
evil woman.
Every morning for your daily forecast.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET.
I got one in. There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday at 5:30 on the Mighty Red, 1490 KMET, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and beyond as we do, and they're joining our audience on IE Newswire, that's both on Facebook, YouTube, and
on Twitch.
Yes,
go on to Twitch and follow us, or I don't know what you do on there, but do it.
Kind of surprised.
Make sure you don't miss any moments, episodes.
We're on that on a Wicked
Wednesday. We can practice that part.
Of that on that going back and forth. We had Trump coming in on that. He was cranking them up in Des Moines, Iowa at the airport there with thousands of people in there versus Joe Biden, which has 30 people drive into a rally that they probably had to give him with them. What is it? What is it? What did they give you to try and keep you awake? I'm trying to think of it.
Ritalin?
Or something? No. What's like? Or yeah, like over-the-counter drugs. Maybe they probably had to have strong pots of coffee out there to keep the people awake out there for going back and forth. We did the schools. We have shown, and finally, the dominant media, much to my surprise, is finally coming out with, this is what's going on. Teachers are standing in the way of this. Administrators across the board are keeping your schools closed because they think it's hurting Trump. They don't care a one lick about your kids. It's all about them. It's been coming out. We played that. And I want to get this in. I didn't get this in. Moreno Valley Unified School District extended the distance learning till January 25th, 2021. And board member Susan Smith said, we are going to be the last ones. This will make us the last ones to open in Riverside County. Because we're going, on top of that, we have to give the teachers union a 4 weeks notice of when we're going to go back. So by that, practically every other school district in Riverside County has plans to be open by January. So just let that sink in of that.
I don't want to.
Like I've said, of the evil, you can see where it's at. On top of that, we're doing that. We covered the. I haven't got to the Hunter Biden stuff yet, but that's absolutely priceless of what's going on. We did the jetpack story of that. Another jetpack sighting today flying over Los Angeles. Airplane coming in on that into LAX, and they're saying, 6,000 feet, there's this dude flying around in a jetpack on that. So of that, and as we've covered that, but I wanted to get to this, and we probably, with all this chaos going on, we still cover a lot of the local stories of that, what's going on, like we're doing today, that what's going on. We covered the county stuff of the openings and this and that. But, a lot of businesses, and especially the restaurant industry, has been hit extremely hard on this. I mean, they're saying anywhere from a third to half of all the restaurants may not or have either went out of business or cannot reopen, will not reopen over this whole thing. And it's been very sad. I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear the stories, especially like when they come to the public meetings and they tell their story. Man, we just can't hardly hang on any longer on this stuff. But a few of them, like the salon owner I met down there and a few of the others have bucked the odds and said, we're opening, we're doing whatever we can to keep our employees going. And one of the places I think that's done this and is actually doing pretty well on that is Dory's Bar and Grill. They're on Van Buren right by Washington, right down there in the Woodcrest area on that. So we have a rep from there. Is it Jana? Janae, yeah. But gotta give me them funky words. I don't know how I ever got a job as a radio talk show host. I don't either. Because I can butcher a name better than anybody. But Janae, welcome to the show from Dory's Bar and Grill.
Thank you so much for having me.
I remember because I ran across you guys a couple of months ago, or 2 or 3 months ago when this stuff all hit. And you guys said, we're opening up and trying to do this and work it out, along with some other businesses, restaurants, nail salons that have been hit really hard on that. And that's kind of why we want to feature businesses like you guys.
To give them that motivation.
Yes, to show you how it can be done. So how did you guys maneuver this stuff off?
Well, I think it's, you have to think outside the box. That's what we did first of all. You have to take the parameters that are given to you, and you have to figure out a method and a way for it to work for everybody. I will say we did open early, a week early compared to other restaurants, because we were at a point where we were just desperate. You had to.
Right.
We couldn't continue to take the loss and keep all our employees. So we opened a little earlier. We got some backlash for that. But we did it in a really safe method. We followed all of the rules and the precautions. We maintain our distance. We have a huge 60-foot tent outside. Everyone eats comfortably. We have misters outside. We decorate our tent for Halloween, for fall. Whatever we can contribute to bring happiness and a social environment for our community, we tried to do while thinking outside the box and making it different. I think that business going forward is never going to be the same. There has been a different way to do business since COVID, and you just have to learn to roll with the punches and make them work for yourself.
And that's a great opportunity.
I love that you guys did that, because there was a lot of people that were looking for places. I mean, not everybody wants to stay inside, and not everybody wants to follow all the guidelines. So I'm really happy that you guys were able to succeed and push forward and all of this. And their Facebook page is amazing. Make sure any of you guys go on to Dory's Bar and Grill and check out their Facebook page. I love it.
Thank you.
And you said something, and I hear this on a daily basis multiple times. Businesses are saying, we either got to do something or we're done. And that's the whole thing. And it kind of concerns me that you say, well, we're never going to go back to the way it was. Well, yeah, we better start looking at that. Else it's going to affect everything. And it's going to, if you build a restaurant or something that's built on a certain model to have a certain amount of customers to make it profitable, or pay the rent, pay your employees, make a profit and everything else, and they take that away from you, then that's, you can do that for a certain amount of time, but that cannot be a long-term sustainable situation.
Correct. And like I said before, every business owner, I think, in our community has felt the loss. As you know, several businesses have closed permanently. We were just very fortunate enough to, A, have a loyal staff, B, we have a group that all of us brought ideas to the table, different ideas. We all thought outside of the box. How can we take our outside? How can we make it an environment that is appealing to everybody outside? So we took our lounge area outside. We took our dining tables outside. We have music and speakers outside. We have it all decorated for Halloween outside. It's just, you have to just be innovative. That's the word.
It is, and
I love that.
Yes, like the song, It Never Rains in California, which at this particular time, yeah, that will work, but there's going to become a time here, and it's coming pretty soon. The daylight hours are getting shorter. Yep. And we're going to get into the rainy, cold winter season. That precludes a lot of this outdoor dining stuff. But
then you bring out heaters and fire pits, and then you can do outside s'mores.
Yep.
See?
That's our next plan. Absolutely.
Oh, see, I love this place already.
Of that, but no, it's going to make the operation of that not as efficient as it should when we're in this part of that, and that's what I'm more concerned about is, if we continue along the path we are of that, it's going to be more extremely difficult to maintain even what you have now, much less improve on it.
True.
Very true.
I think going forward, we just, take what we're given and try to make the best of it. Hopefully, we can increase to 50% capacity, and then it just keeps rising from there. Riverside is at a 25% capacity currently, and if we can get back to just having a normal restaurant environment or any normal business environment for that matter, then we can all look to the future. But right now, everybody's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because we never know what's going to happen from one day to the next.
And that's especially for a small business. I mean, that's like the worst position you can be in, not having, it's risky enough that you got your neck stuck out on the line on this stuff. But when you put all this uncertainty and changing parameters, and are we going to be at 25% today? Is Newsom going to close us down like he's threatening to do again of that? I mean, you can't, you got, even if prepared for 25% capacity of that, he shuts you restaurants down again. Man, that's a lot of food and everything else, not to mention your employees are not working again and everything else.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And we have to really take a look at what has been the outcome of Newsom's decisions. I mean, we lost so many businesses. We have lost, people are on, government aid. And in the end, there's no vaccine still. People are going to have to, unfortunately, catch this flu, this COVID. They're going to have to ride it out before they can build an immunity. And so that's where we're currently at right now. If we could have come to this conclusion months ago, I think a lot of what has happened could have been avoided.
Absolutely on that. And hopefully, I know our supervisor that represents us out here in Moreno Valley, and that, I don't know if he gets Woodcrest, but Jeff Hewitt has been pushing hard to allow businesses like yours to expand and get back to normal on that. And I'm hoping a lot of business owners will join in on that push on that. But on top of that, I think you're having what impresses me is you're having enough success at this that you're planning on opening a new location, I think.
Yes, we are opening a second Dory's at Tom's Farm, and we plan on doing the soft opening for the bar on the 21st of October. We are doing the soft opening for the restaurant on the 31st. We're going to have signature bar drinks. We are going to do a soft menu and have some music out there. And again, bring it all outside. And hopefully it's a success. But we figured if we can manage to expand, why not? It is a risk. I'm not going to lie. But I can't sit tight knowing that somebody else or our government or whoever's, making the decisions is going to have a say-so on how I progress in my life with my family. I have 2 5-month-old twin boys, and I just can't sit back and roll over. That it's not in my nature. So if we can afford to move forward and afford to bring our restaurant environment outside to another location, we're going to go for gold.
That's it. And Tom's Farm, that's south of Corona area.
I love Tom's Farms.
Yes.
I am so excited you guys are going out there.
We love Tom's Farms.
Yes, on that. So we wish you a lot of luck with the new location and continuing good luck and success at your one in Riverside Woodcrest area there at Van Buren, right by Washington on that. And maybe we'll take a trip out there and check out your facility there pretty soon.
For sure.
She said
Thank you
so much. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Janae.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's a business owner
I mean,
with guts.
come on. I love her.
Yes.
I love the whole thing about that. And their Facebook page, did I mention that? Is amazing.
I think you did once.
Oh my gosh. Better up your game, baby, bro.
No, I think you're impressed with that, which is good. No,
but you know what? The thing that I'm impressed with, I mean, the layout's great. Don't get me wrong, the rapids are amazing. But just their entertainment and their excitement. I mean, they have football. They have karaoke on Wednesdays. They're getting ready for Halloween. They're opening a new location. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, and I want to see more businesses like that, especially a mom with twin boys. You go, girl.
Yeah, twin 5-month-old boys, new business.
Yeah, and they're boys.
And the restaurant business, that is one of the most competitive. I mean, the turnover rate in restaurants is like up the
But they're doing it right, because look at that entertainment. I mean, it draws me in, and I want to go. We even have people on Facebook that are saying they're going to stop by on their way home and go.
Can you get, I wanted to see what the car was in the deal of that. Oh, there it is, yeah. Oh.
Would you like me to flash it up so everybody can see what you're talking about?
There you go.
1985.
There you go, of that. Let's see. There we go. Now, it's got the whole deal of that. Yeah, that's a cool poster of that, don't you think?
I love it.
Yes.
See, now you like it even more.
There you go. I mean,
they have a great style, and they're doing a great job.
I mean, it just takes you back.
I'm bummed out I didn't know about this sooner.
This just reminds me of the way things were before March. This is what would be going on. This is where people would be talking about, okay, we're going to go to the Dory's Bar and Grill, or we're going to go, to Tom's Farms, or, there was no deal. We'll go out to Riley's Farms out in Oak Glen and pick apples, or see the 1776 show, or go to the beach, or go to Disneyland, or go to the races, or whatever.
I'm Disneyland right now.
Of that. It seems like everything is being pulled out from under, especially now your kids are never going back to school.
My heart. But and I think a lot like Janae, I think a lot more places are getting the guts, and they are doing more things, such as, I just added and I lost it. There it is. Check this out. Our local farmers market in 2 weeks from now is having a costume contest, and they're giving out candy.
Wow.
What?
I just thought that was illegal in California.
Well, you know what? Give it up to our farmers markets. There's going to be prizes included from the vendors. I mean, how great is that for the kids to go out and at least go and get some candy and be a part of a Halloween costume contest? And that's not all. I feel like a salesperson right now. On Friday, October 30th, Discovery... Why does it do that to me?
I didn't touch anything.
I know. Discovery Church is going to be doing a spooktacular drive-through where your family can come out and do a little... It's kind of reverse this year, a trunk or treat, but you're going to drive through. You don't even have to get out of your car.
Well, and I just heard, and I don't know if it's going to spread, but I think Beverly Hills banned trick-or-treating, and I think L.A. has banned trick-or-treating door-to-door and trunk-or-treat, where you get it out of the car. They're even banning that. So, and, Newsom's running his scare tactics along with the mortician galley, the whatever the head health official is. And his wife said, well, the real doctor, the number 2, but one that actually is a medical doctor, his wife's the one that's in L.A. County. Not the witch Barbara Ferrer, who's the non-doctor social worker of that. But this is the kind of madness that's going on. And I'm just wondering if they're toying with this. Because, Newsom's still toying with Riverside County. He said, well, we'll wait to the end of the week if you're going back to the purple or da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is getting flat ridiculous. Riverside, like Kelly Victory said, I don't care what the positivity rate is. Tell me what the death rate, hospitalizations are. We're down to 39 in ICU, intensive care unit beds. When we were at the peak, we were at 150. And that's because younger people are getting it. And it's like they were having a big boo-hoo-hoo, 17,000 cases of the flu and MVUSD in before February, from October to February last year. That, nobody died. Nobody even thought about it. Now it's some sort of big deal of that. That's what they're putting the fear.
I don't understand it. I mean, why?
They're doing it to control you, put the fear in you to justify.
Well, then why are we letting it do it? So let's say, screw that. We're all going to go trick-or-treating on Halloween. Even I'm going to go, and I'm going to get some damn candy. We're going to go to our favorite bars and restaurants. We're going to we're not going to break down the doors. Now we're going to jail. Yeah, but never mind.
I love the passion.
But why are we letting them... Why? Why aren't we saying... What would they do if we said no?
Exactly.
Like, look at Dory's.
Exactly.
They're opening another restaurant. Look at Discovery Church. They're doing a drive-through. Look at a farmer's market. They're going to have a Halloween costume contest. See, I'm trying to leave our people up on a high. You're bringing them down.
Yeah, I agree with you. You should be.
Say no.
You should be demanding at your city councils and school boards, saying we are showing up at the meetings. No more of these Zoom meetings. There's no reason for that. If you don't want to show up, then that's your prerogative. But we need to get back. They're doing it at the county.
I think they really need to let people make that decision now. If they want to send their kid to school, let them send their kid to school. I don't get why they won't do that.
Correct.
What is the harm in that? Because even if Timmy has COVID, he's going to go to Target with you, wiping his snot all over every damn candy that he touches. And toy, because you know he's going to grab that ball and say he wants the ball, and you're going to sneak it and hide it behind the sodas when you're in the checkout line. I know how you are, parents. I do the same thing.
Confessions of a mom.
My kids don't watch the show, so they don't know.
Well, you never know. It's archived.
Love you.
But no, you're exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. It's because, like I said, it's not about your kid. In fact, they could care less about your kid's education. It's all about them. They're having a big power trip. They're thinking, this is the land. Now we don't have to hear Roy step up to the microphone at the meeting because we're going to do it on Zoom, and then we're going to make it extremely difficult to do on that. And I ghastly, despise of that. And you want to see what happens when you don't bring this stuff out? Like I said, when, over the years, and many of those people from the daises all over, from coast to coast, have looked us in the eye, the few that have said this and said, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, do you?
You're evil, this and that.
I hate it when you're right, though.
And
I think it's because people, and I'm one of them, too. I didn't want to think that you'd be right. Nobody wanted to admit that school was going to be shut down that long. 3 weeks off? Heck yeah. 5 years? No. It's not going to be 5 years, is it?
I've told you that you're never going back to the way it was before
March. But if you go to charter school, you know how many parents? But you know how many parents? But do you have to pay for charter school?
Here's the.
But you have to pay for charter school.
Well, no. Some charter schools, if they're accredited, you can get the money that they send to your school district and get it applied to the charter schools, so it doesn't cost you.
Uh-oh.
So, yes,
I'd be looking into that.
That's why they're panicking. And I said,
But I see on Facebook yesterday after that came out, it was like parents were just going. They were going. They're upset. They can't handle it.
I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, I know it's in the moment. You're thinking, man, this is the worst thing that's going on. But I'm thinking maybe the COVID and the whole chaos that's going on in 2020. As
this year.
As the whole deal is,
the last 2 years,
maybe
actually.
this was Mother Nature or the forces of in the sky or whatever are giving you the big woke. This is going on, and as Tom Del Beccaro said, you want to elect Biden and stuff. This is exactly what Hugo Chavez of Venezuela did in 2004. And Venezuela at the time had oil money. They were one of the richest countries in the world. Now they are dead blank broke. They're starving. People are starving to death. There's no electricity on. You can hardly get gasoline or anything else in one of the oil richest areas of the world. They squandered it all by this whole nonsense that's been going on. And I wanted to cover this one. And I'm thinking the positive of this is it's actually like with the schools. It's actually parents are now seeing what exactly was going on in the schools, so now they can't say, you know what, that's not going, my teacher or the superintendent said, or my school board member said, that's not going on. Well, yes, it was. It always has been, and that's why the schools are screwed up as they are.
I don't know what you're saying on the last part, but yeah.
I wanted to cover this, the whole Joe Biden, Hunter Biden deal.
All right, you got like 3 minutes.
Smoking gun email reveals Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian businessman to VP dad. Biden said at the last debate, I knew nothing about what Hunter Biden was doing, yada, yada, yada. This is in the New York Post. They leaked it. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's personal attorney, got the emails. Hunter Biden introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in the Ukraine to firing a prosecutor who was investigating a company, according to emails obtained by the Post. The never-before-revealed meeting mentioned the message of appreciation of the Ukraine guys. After Hunter Biden joined the Burisma board at a reported salary up to $50,000 a month. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving me the opportunity, an honor and pleasure, the email reads. The blockbuster correspondence, which flies in the face of Joe Biden's claim he's never spoken to my son about overseas business dealings, encased in the massive trove of data in the laptop computer. They found one of Hunter Biden, the cocaine-sniffing piece of crap son of Joe Biden, of that. He dropped off a laptop at a place to be repaired, never picked it up, and they discovered all this stuff. Lying Joe Biden said he never did that. In 2014, he knew about this, along with his other, sexual escapades, running with the crack whores and everything else of that. They're partying it up on our dime of that, and then saying we didn't do it. They've been caught dead, red-handed on this stuff. 100% of that. Less than 8 months after Brzezinski thanked Hunter Biden for the introduction to his dad, the then vice president admittedly pressured Ukrainian President Peter Poroshenko and Prime Minister Arnashi Yatsenyuk into getting rid of prosecutor General Viktor Shokin by threatening to withhold $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee during December 2015 trip to Kiev. I looked at them, this is Joe Biden, I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Biden famously bragged to the Council on Foreign Relations in 2018, well, son of a bitch, he got fired. Well, no blank. A-hole, you've been pocketing, your kids have been pocketing. You pocketed $15 million after you got out of office as vice president. You lying sack of shit.
Hey.
Excuse the language, but that's what you're all about.
Not when we're on air, man.
It is. He's lied about it. He looks in the camera and lies to you. And each and every day, you come on and you act like this doesn't happen and you deny it. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Go say no.
Yes.
Yeah, your time's up, buddy.
He's again, it just broke yesterday of that. And if you're not PO'd as I am and many others are, I don't know what to tell you.
Make sure you go over to Dory's, check them out. They're located in Riverside. Check out their new location coming up in Tom's Farms on October 30th. Tell them we sent you, like we always say, until tomorrow or 48 hours from now.
We're gone.
No, 28. What is it? Crap.
The